and I could not be more proud and honored to introduce him to you. From his interview in the program, I was also his instructor, his advisor, and now he's a professional colleague. It's just such an honor. His growth and his contributions to our profession are many. So Isaac is a 2021 graduate of our Master's of Arts and Counseling program with the addiction concentration. And he finished his degree during the tumult of the COVID shutdown and beyond over the last few years. He witnessed firsthand the immediate impact of the pandemic on people, specifically people facing addiction, during his practicum and his internship experiences. This is also the time when many of our graduates started the program, right? So to all of you, and to Isaac as well, that resilience and the humility are two defining characteristics of these cohorts, and you are to be commended for your persistence. In addition to his master's degree, Isaac holds a bachelor's degree in psychology with a minor in substance abuse education, prevention, and intervention, also from CMU. He is currently a limited licensed counselor who holds the National Counselor Certification, as well as certified alcohol and drug counselor credential in the state of Michigan. He also has basic training with eye movement desensitization and reprocessing, EMDR therapy. In his current position with 1016 Recovery Network, he serves as the Community Engagement Manager at the Clare Center for Recovery and Wellness. There, he leads a team of addiction professionals and has worked there for almost 5 years now in a variety of roles. A student support coordinator for the CMU crew, which is the Central Michigan Recovery Education and Wellness Program, a lot of acronyms, yeah. And as a clinical therapist for the past 4 years before recently stepping into that managerial role. Additionally, Isaac is an alumni of the 2020 NBCC Minority Fellowship Program and also received the Learning and Leading Award here at CMU in our College of Education and Human Services. When he's not splitting wood to restock his wood stove, you will find him spending time with his wife and son, or enjoying an entire pot of coffee by himself. Those little things, right? So again, it is a pleasure that we welcome Isaac Dieterman to the podium as our distinguished speaker to formally address our 2022-2023 counseling program graduates. Welcome, and welcome.
Counseling graduates of 2023, you have finally completed the degree that you have worked so hard for. The amount that you've accomplished throughout these years is exceptional, and in the coming weeks and years, you will learn just how valuable your time here at Central Michigan University has been. Before we get too far into this, I want to invite each of you to take a moment to just be here, not just the graduates, everyone in this room. Be here right now. I encourage all of you to consider the feelings that you are experiencing at this moment. Consider who you have here supporting you. I invite each of you to notice the sights and sounds that are present in this room today. And I encourage each of you to take a deep breath with me right now. Come on, I want to be able to hear it. Now just exhale and just be here. So what happens next for each of you? Would you like to advocate for underserved populations? Do you want to own your own private practice? Will you work with kids in the schools? Can you see yourself working for a counseling agency? If you answered yes to the last question, talk to me afterwards. I'm hiring. These questions can be overwhelming. You are each at a turning point in your lives where you are about to embark upon the journey that you have been working so hard for. The late night study sessions, all those group projects that none of you wanted to do, the 15 to 20 page papers in your undergrad degree, the excessive amount of mental energy that you put into procrastinating on all of your different projects. All that is now over. Things are about to change. Welcome to the jungle. I want you all to picture something with me for a moment. I want you to picture an alcoholic, hopeless in a hospital bed after a seizure caused by alcohol withdrawal. A doctor walks in the room and tells the alcoholic that they have 1 year to live if they continue to drink. What do you think happens to that person? Does he die? More than 140,000 people die from alcohol-related causes annually. Does the person complete suicide? People who suffer with alcoholism are 120 times more likely to take their own life. Does the person ever get sober? 36% of people get sober from alcoholism. As you ponder their faith, I want you to think about yourselves. Each person here has fought through a battle that no one else has seen. Each of you have overcome obstacles in your life, and each of you chose a profession where you will help others overcome their battles every day. What greater expression of love is there in the world than to walk with someone through their suffering and help to bring them out of it? As the quote by St. Augustine says, what does love look like? It has the hands to help others. It has the feet to hasten to the poor and needy. It has the eyes to see misery and want. It has the ears to hear the sighs and sorrows of men. What does love look like for you? Will you help the person that has autism? Will you help the person that struggles with addiction? Will you help the kid being bullied in school? Will you help those who suffer from mental health disorders? Will you help the couple that's going through marital distress? Will you help the person who has experienced trauma? The answer is yes, you will. And you will because you have endured things yourself that has inspired you to become counselors today. When Dr. Pickover broke the news to you that you need to learn math in your assessment class in order to get this degree that you've worked for, right? She told you that you need to learn some of these math skills that took you by surprise. When you were in the second hour of the 13th week of Dr. Mulvaney's ethics class, when you were writing your 400th discussion post that required 3 sources, and when you were practicing for your NCE exam, I'm curious, did you ask yourselves, was this worth it? Did I make the wrong decision? Should I have dropped out of college to become a social media influencer? Not a chance. You chose this degree because you selflessly desired to be the light in someone's darkness. You chose to be the ears that would listen to someone's deep pain, and the feet that would walk when other people couldn't stand. But I would bet that very few of you woke up one day as a child and wanted to be a counselor when you grew up. When I was young, I thought I wanted to be an English teacher, and then I wanted to be a businessman, and then I wanted to be a police officer. Little did I know at the time, though, that these things were not my calling. They were just simply interests that I thought I had. But at 23 years old, I went through pain, and through the pain, I found my purpose and my meaning. Go back with me for a moment to the alcoholic in the hospital? Did the person die? Did the person complete suicide? Did the person get sober? That alcoholic is me. At 23 years old, I was told I had a year to live if I kept drinking. This was after experiencing my second of 3 alcoholic seizures, one of which causing a brain hemorrhage on my temporal lobe after falling during a seizure, right here in Mount Pleasant. During the same period of time, I was experiencing delirium tremens every single time I stopped drinking. I was completely hopeless, addicted, filled with shame and suffering. I was in the worst physical, emotional, spiritual, and mental state that I had ever been in at that point in my life. At 23 years old, I wanted to take my own life. At 23 years old, I had lost everything. And on September 26, 2015, I found recovery. This was thanks to the listening ear of counseling professionals just like yourselves. It was because of a strong motivation for change and the grace of God that I stand here today, nearly 8 years sober. I have hope in a future, a family and a career, a counseling degree, and a desire to help others. In the first year, I began rebuilding my relationships and learning how to live life without alcohol. I aced a math class that I had failed 4 times before that. This allowed me to pass Dr. Pickover's assessment class. At 2 years sober, I founded SOAR, the Student Organization for Addiction Recovery at CMU. At 3 years sober, I was hired as 1016 Recovery Network Student Support Coordinator for CMU on campus here. At 4 years sober, I was hired as an outpatient therapist at 1016, got married, bought a house, and was awarded the Learning and Leading Award at CMU. At 5 years sober, I was selected to be a part of the NBCC Minority Fellowship Program for Addiction Counselors. At 6 years sober, I became a dad to my wonderful son. We didn't take him today because we figured that he'd be a little bit too distracting. I also graduated from CMU in my 6th year sober. At 7 years sober, I was promoted to the program manager for 1016, where I now lead other recovery professionals in their work. And at 8 years sober, my wife and I are expecting our second kid. I encourage each of you here today to explore within yourselves the pain that you have experienced. However, instead of focusing on the pain itself, on the suffering, I want you to focus on the value that each of your stories have. The purpose that your pain has developed in your life. As Viktor Frankl said, life is never made unbearable by circumstances, but only a lack of meaning and purpose. I want to share with you that no matter what sorrow, no matter what adversity that you face throughout your life, you have a story. You have a testimony that will help people live their life to the fullest, that will free people from the chains that bind them. Be proud of what you have accomplished here today. This is only the beginning of the journey. I look forward to collaborating with some of you in the future. I look forward to the difference that each of you will make in our communities. I look forward to the lives that each of you will help to change. Now go and embrace the world that you were created to conquer. Go with love, go with hope, and go with your own unique abilities to make this world better. Class of 2023, you've made it. Thank you.